Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam, and investors have a short trading week this week as markets are closed on Monday for Martin Luther King Day. So just make sure you know that the markets will not be open tomorrow, but we have Tuesday through Friday ready to go. So earnings season kicked off on Friday with major banks reporting their earnings. Kind of mixed. Wells Fargo, they did pretty good, but JP Morgan Chase, the growth was slowing down just as Jefferies anticipated in their earnings report from earlier on Wednesday. But the earnings season, it has kicked off. It's heating up. We've got big reports due in this week. Goldman Sachs, Procter Gamble, and even Netflix this week. We've got a wide variety of companies reporting earnings this week. Now, the economic calendar this week features updates on housing starts, building permits, and existing home sales. So we'll get a little mixture of what's the housing market like right now. Now, the overall market, I would say the market momentum, it changed to negative at the end of last week. However, the S&P 500 is still showing some positive momentum signals right now. It's just that there's a wide divergence, though, in sectors between the most positive being energy and the most negative being healthcare. So you have to be careful where you're investing. Right now, the Dow Jones Futures and the S&P 500 futures are a little changed right now from how they ended on Friday. But the NASDAQ futures, they've dipped a little. The stock market rally is teetering. It doesn't know where it wants to go, with the last week's short-lived rebound quickly failing to show any conviction. It was convictionless. This market right now, there is no conviction in any type of rally that we see. And on your screen, this is the SPX, which is the S&P 500. That's the ticker symbol for TradingView. And you can see right now, it is below the 50-day moving average. That's where it fell to on Friday. But it fell further than that. It got down nearly to that purple trend line coming up here on the bottom of their trading channel for the S&P 500. Almost touched it on January the 10th. It did touch that trend line. So when we open on Tuesday, are we going lower? Or are we going to bounce higher to get back above that 50-day moving average? And you can see the teetering that I was talking about right here with this green, red, green, green, red. It's just on the 50-day moving average right now, the S&P 500 is back and forth. Bullish above, bearish below that 50-day moving average. And that's a very key support area. Now, the NASDAQ, unfortunately, it has actually fallen to its 200-day moving average, but silver lining on that, it has held at that level so far and hasn't hasn't fallen further. Excuse me, trying to get my words out. All right, Catalyst Watch video drops every Sunday evening, so make sure you are subscribed to get the right information at the right time to make the right investment decisions for the upcoming week. Now, a couple of things to say. Number one, knowing what the top 10 stocks are in categories like value, growth, dividend, and momentum, that provides investors with the guidance needed to outperform the market. And that's exactly what we've put together. We have put together 40 high quality stocks ready to choose from that are constantly updated. So you always have the right information, the best names available. So click the first link in the description to become a member and get instant access to our top 10 value, growth, dividend, and momentum stocks, and so much more. We've done the research so you don't have to. Okay, here's my 2 Dow stocks of this week. Chevron, ticker symbol is CVX. So I'll put that in here. so you can see their chart. Now, I'm doing this top 2 Dow stocks. There's 30 stocks in the Dow Jones. I'm picking 2 that I think will do the best this week. Now, Chevron here has been on a rally, right? It came out of this symmetrical triangle. It rallied. It went sideways for a couple weeks, and then it has been rallying really, really hard. However, it's not up to its target area yet. And as I squeeze this chart together, this red line that you see up here at the top, that's the target for Chevron. That's where I think Target will run into a wall and stop for a while. Now, Chevron, it continues to be in a very strong and very positive momentum. And you can see that by it's almost going straight up. So with most of the energy sector being positive, it's no reason why Chevron shouldn't be positive too, right? In January, analysts have upgraded Chevron with the highest price target being $145. Chevron's 52-week high is $129. So there's a lot of room to run there. Institutions are also net buyers, and the indicators, well, they're all positive in a breakout condition, and it's starting to reach overbought at this moment in time. So levels in the short term are overbought for Chevron. But I think if we can get a pullback on maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday, that would make for a good entry point. Waiting for a short little pullback to get in and ride this thing up to that red line. That would be a great one. And there is a catalyst for Chevron this week, and that's when OPEC issues its monthly oil market report, and that happens on Tuesday. So that could give a real boost to Chevron. So that's why it's one of my top 2 Dow stocks of the week. The second is Walmart, and the ticker symbol is WMT. Now, Walmart is on my list for doing good this week out of the 30 Dow stocks. If we look at Walmart, it's been range bound between $135 with a top of $152. I think it can get its way back up to the top before coming back down to the bottom. Now, another thing about Walmart, it's setting up for a stronger breakout. Right now, it is setting up for a stronger breakout with high net inflows and indicators turning more positive. Institutions, again, are net buyers on Walmart, and the price sales valuation is excellent. The next strong resistance area is going to be around that 152 area. Now, a catalyst for Walmart this week is Walmart CEO speaks at the National Retail Federation, and that happens on Tuesday. So watch out for Chevron and Walmart in the Dow this week. Okay, let's talk about catalyst this week, other catalyst on specific days. Let's jump into Monday, January 17th. Now, U.S. markets are closed on Monday for Martin Luther King Day, but the 3-day North American Bitcoin conference begins in Miami, Florida. And whenever we have a Bitcoin conference, there is always a lot of news. Last year, Bitcoin rallied during the conference. Can it do the same now? Well, BTC USD on TradingView, and there is a link in the account. There is a link in the description for a free account. I don't know why I have extra nerves tonight, but boy, oh boy, do I. Okay, Bitcoin, we've already gone through this death cross, right? I'm going to get volume out of here so we can see this a little clearer. Bye-bye volume. All right, let's open this up and look at this. All right, that purple circle, that's where the death cross occurred. So it happened right here on January the 14th. It was a green day. Bitcoin gained 1.2% on on Death Cross Day. So Bitcoin gained 1.2% on Death Cross Day. Like I've been saying for the past week now, the Death Cross is a lagging indicator, okay? It means we've already been in a downtrend and a bottom may have already occurred and a rally is incoming. That's what a Death Cross means to me. Now, Bitcoin and other cryptos are beginning to attract more attention as potential inflation and government instability hedges. Bitcoin has successfully passed through its death cross, like I just said, and price action has been stable over the past week. If you look at price, it hasn't moved. Bitcoin, I believe, is at or near the bottom, and many long-term holders are accumulating. They're stacking up Bitcoin right now. So I'm feeling pretty confident about Bitcoin right now for the short term, and I'm very confident about Bitcoin in the long term. So the conference begins on Monday, lasts for 3 days. We should get some news from the conference about Bitcoin. A lot of top name will be there speaking. So a lot of information to learn from that conference when it begins on Monday. So keep your eye on crypto this week. I'm sure there will be some sort of movement. But as far as Bitcoin goes and this death cross, it's behind us now, again, just like it was. So we can look forward to a golden cross when we get close to peaking at the top. All right, let's move on to Tuesday, January 18th. Now, this is a very busy week for it being such a short week. There are so many earnings reports coming out, it's mind-boggling. But on Tuesday, January 18th, the National Retail Federation hosts its 2022 event, which follows last week's ICR conference for retailers as well. Now, notable speakers include the CEOs of Best Buy, ticker symbol BBY, Lowe's, LOW, Ralph Lauren, RL, and Walmart, like I had mentioned earlier, WMT. Okay, this is interesting now. This next one. The U.S. Global Sea and Sky Cargo ETF, ticker symbol CSEA, it's not available yet, but it will debut on the New York Stock Exchange on Tuesday. Now, the ETF will seek to provide diversification across the entire global sea shipping and air freight industries, consisting of common stocks listed on developed and emerging markets across the globe. So you're not just going to get access to US based stocks, you'll also get access to international based stocks in other countries, right? On other exchanges. The fund manager says the ETF will use what they call a smart beta strategy to determine the most effective sea shipping and air freight companies in the world, and that's where they will invest. So again, that ETF ticker symbol is CSEA, and it will launch on Tuesday. This one I find very interesting. With the whole supply chain debacle that we have right now, being in transportation is not number one like energy, but it is doing very well. And because of all the backlogs and wheels clogged up in the pipeline, the transportation industry, it's going to be working for months and months and months and months and months and months to try to get these things smoothed out in the transportation space. So I'm bullish on transportation for quite some time, majority of 2022. Okay, keep an eye out for some news from Winnebago, ticker symbol WGO. Now, Winnebago, they build recreational vehicles. I'll scoot to make the chart a little tighter here so we get a bigger view here. Winnebago has been range bound. Bottom of 65, top of 75. It's sitting at 75 right now. Late on Friday, it came across the newswire while I was doing the live stream. I saw it pop up. Bam. Winnebago is going to show the world what their all-electric recreational vehicle, what their all-electric motorhome is going to look like at the Florida RV Super Show. Now, many in the RV and EV space have been waiting for this development. And depending on how close Winnebago may be to actually production on these EV RVs, that's what I like to call them, EV RVs. That could get the stock running if they are anywhere close to production. Now, I don't think, at least from the news reports that we have, I don't think that we're there yet. I don't think Winnebago is ready for production yet. But we don't know, right? So this is going to be very interesting, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like. I cannot wait to get the specs on this thing. I personally, I love boating, RVing. I just love being out there in nature. Absolutely love it. And having an all-electric recreational vehicle, to me, that would be awesome. Totally awesome. And RV sales are already doing really, really well. Can you imagine? Look at how Ford, right? Let's look at Ford just right quick as a comparison here. Ford, before talking about EVs, and let me do this with the chart. It's going to be hard to look, but you can kind of see the slope here. We go March 2020, right? And Ford is down here. It's a $4 stock. Then it starts building up, right? Tesla starts going crazy. We get to May and we got a big jump, small pullback, but then Tesla takes off. Ford starts talking about electric vehicles, specifically the F-150 Lightning. And Ford, their stock skyrockets to a $25 stock now. All on the tops, all on the top talks and the reports of Ford moving to producing electric vehicles. So if Winnebago and Thor Industries is another company to keep on your radar for a recreational vehicle that may be all electric. That's another company. They're doing a little bit better in the RV space. They're also a manufacturer like Winnebago is, but Winnebago is getting the first go at it. So maybe Thor is just waiting to see what they do, and then they come out with theirs. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But Winnebago stock could just ignite if it does have a decent looking all electric recreational vehicle, an EV RV. All right. We also get some earnings. The ones that I'm paying closest attention to are Goldman Sachs, PNC Bank, Truist, and then JB Hunt Transportation. And let me back up and give you those ticker symbols. So we have Goldman Sachs, ticker symbol is GS. PNC, PNC. Truist, TFC. And those are the banks. And then we have JB Hunt Transportation, JBHT. Okay. And then the last one that I'm watching on Tuesday is Stride. The ticker symbol is LRN, like learn. They're an online education company. Now, in 2021, they had a very decent year. They were in an ascending trading channel all year long. And then we get to November of 21, halfway through, and then it starts to fall. Now, when they come out with their earnings report for the last quarter, they missed their last quarter, and that is partially why the sell-off occurred. But if they can come out with a positive message, they are at a support area right now, somewhere between $28 and $30, and they're sitting right around $30 right now. So they've got a little bit of support around that range. If they can come out with some positive news on their earnings on Tuesday, that could be a turnaround to get this stock going back in the right direction. Possibly. So that's why I'm watching this one in particular. So we got the banks, transportation, and an online education company. Those are the earnings I'm watching on Tuesday. All right, let's get to Wednesday, January 19th. Now, some people may argue with me about this one. Lucid Motors, LCID, or Lucid Group. I'm so used to calling them Lucid Motors because that was their name all the way until the SPAC merger was complete, and then it changed to Lucid Group. I'm just not in the habit of saying that quite yet, even though it's been a couple months, right? This is a company that has done extremely well in the market. Now, if we go in and look at this a little bit closer, all right, from their last earnings standpoint, that's when they reached their top, right about $55. And they've got a top there at $55 that they just can't hold above. Every time they get there, they might break through, and then at some point during the day, they come back down. Or maybe they're on a march with momentum getting to it, and they get to that line, $55, and it just falls apart. Everyone starts taking profits. Well, right now, Lucid Motors is in a symmetrical triangle. And 9 times out of 10, when you have a symmetrical triangle like this that came from an uptrend, that's a continuation that the uptrend will continue. But there is that one time that it doesn't, that it falls and breaks through that symmetrical triangle. And for Lucid Motors, that's happened. If we go back to the day where selling was allowed, but then on the same exact day, they announced that their preview event at their manufacturing facility would take place. The stock dropped to what was it, like 14, 15? What was that low? Hold on, I'm looking for it. A low of $16.12. $16.12, and now it's at $42.22. That was a really good rally, but that's an example of when you're in a symmetrical triangle, things can break to the downside for you. But normally that doesn't happen. The very next symmetrical triangle, that led them to their new all-time high rally. And now we find ourselves in another symmetrical triangle, but on Wednesday, the lockup for many PIPE investors in Lucid Group ends. That's right. PIPE investors will be allowed to sell. The lockup expiration will cover about 74% of the outstanding shares on Lucid. Morgan Stanley's analyst, Adam Jonas, Well, he thinks that the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund is unlikely to sell any stock in the near future. I don't blame him. But other analysts have warned on a short term overhang as traders watch the institutional order flows. So, are people going to sell or are people going to hold? What are those pipe investors going to do? And then, if some of the pipe investors do sell, how many institutions are going to be stepping in to buy those shares? That's what needs to be watched. Now, this symmetrical triangle for Lucid Group, we could see some selling pressure here as we come to the nexus point on the symmetrical triangle, and then we get a boom from all the buying. But there could be some pressure on the stock, so be careful of that, okay? I think Lucid is a good company. I think Lucid has a potential. I think right now there is a race to second place. A race to second place. I think Tesla has got the lead. And I think right now there is a race between different EV manufacturers to be that second place, to be that third place. And then who knows how many we end up with. But for everyone we have right now, we're going to lose a whole bunch. They'll go bankrupt in the coming years. Okay, moving off of Lucid Group, let's go to a jewelry dealer. And I did a standalone video on this company. You can go watch it if you have some time. It's Signet Jewelers. Ticker symbol is SIG. Now, Signet Jewelers, I am very bullish on for 2022. I think they're going to do quite well in 2022. They did nearly 200% last year, which is really, really good. But can that continue? I think it can. Now, Signet Jewelers, they post their holiday sales results, and it's just a press release. They're not holding any special meetings of that nature. It's just a press release, but it shares what their holiday sales were like. And I suspect they were good. Maybe I'm a little biased towards being the results being good, but I understand that bias. So that's why I paused for a moment. I think they'll be good, but I do have a bias towards this company and believing in this company and having an investment thesis on this company, thinking it will do good in 2022. All right. Now, shares of Signet Jewelers, it will move on this news. If it is good, well, then it's moving up. If it's bad, then it's moving down. Now, one thing to point out right now, it is below its 50-day moving average. Bullish above, bearish below. Always remember that phrase. Right now, and for the past week, it has been under that 50-day moving average. But it has been holding very, very tight to that 21-day moving average. And moving sideways and slightly up. Okay, that's Signet Jewelers. Next up is Plug Power. Ticker symbol is Plug, Plug. Now, Plug Power is going to hold a business update conference call. Now, shares of Plug Power, they rose last year when the company boosted guidance during a very similar update. So, can Plug Power do it again? Or is the macro environment too hard for a company that is considered a growth company? Is the macro environment just too crushing for a growth company to even rally with great news? See, these are things that we have to constantly think about. All right, so Plug Power has been in a very sharp decline. Maybe if when the company comes out and they give good guidance, hey, we've done this and that, we're moving towards this and that, maybe investors might give them, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not going to be 3, 5, 8 years before they reach this goal. Maybe they're going to do it in 2 years. Well, that would help, wouldn't it? So it's one to watch. I'm curious to hear what they're going to say because Plug Power has been a very interesting stock, to say the least. It has had many rallies. It misses on earnings, but it still has rallies, except for the last earnings, of course, that set off this big downtrend that it's been in now for a while. Okay, next one up is Silvergate, ticker symbol SI. And you got to go down here to Silvergate Capital on the New York Stock Exchange because there's a couple other same ticker symbols from other countries in TradingView, if that's where you're getting your info. Okay, they had a beautiful symmetrical triangle breakout technical textbook right here. Beautiful symmetrical triangle. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Silvergate Capital holds an earnings conference call, so it's got its earnings. But the options market, options trading on Silvergate implies a swing of up to 13% after the numbers come out. A 13% swing after the numbers come out. Well, where could that put us? Let's do a little calculating here. I'm going to get the ruler out and I'm going to go 13% from where it is right now. Okay. It's at $138. And let's go 13%. Just see, that puts us at, well, I could see that, $156. That's right here. There's some resistance at that level right there. So even going back here to December 16th, there's been resistance at that level. And then back here in October, there's been actually some support at that level. So that's interesting. Now, if we go down from this level, well, then we're right here back in the bottom of the symmetrical triangle that was forming. But I'm not so sure about this one being called a symmetrical triangle as much as the first one definitely was. Okay, so if it falls, it's going down to its support level. If it rises, it's going to its resistance level. But still, that's a healthy move if it goes in the right direction. All right. Other earnings that I'm watching is UnitedHealth, ticker symbol UNH, Bank of America, BAC, Procter and Gamble. That'll be a big one, and it will tell us a whole lot about supply chain and input costs. Ticker symbol is PG, Procter and Gamble. Also looking at Morgan Stanley, ticker symbol MS. Remember, big banks, it looks like growth is slowing. That's why I've said several times on the live stream throughout the week, I love regional banks this year, not the big banks. Regional banks, for me, are where the outperformance and the better returns and results will be this year. Now, Jeffries came in, trading is down 49%. Trading is down 49% at Jefferies. It was also down trading at JP Morgan Chase. So if these big institutions are not seeing the trading action, what is that going to be like for companies like Robinhood when they report their earnings? If retailers aren't trading like they were in 2020, in 2021, man, that's just going to hurt them even worse than these big banks. All right, the last one that I'm watching for earnings is United Airlines, ticker symbol UAL. And again, that's all on Wednesday. I know it's a busy week. There is lots of things to watch Your attention can be going in many different directions. Just take a handful, maybe one from each day, and just follow that for the day and see where it takes you. All right, Thursday, January 20th, and we have Corsair Gaming that I'm watching. Ticker symbol is CRSR. Now, Corsair Gaming has been in this downtrend. It's very defined. It's a complete channel with tops and bottoms that you can just completely guide where this thing is going. But I think it's starting to reach a bottom here. Now, it's at $20.72. Its 52-week low is $19.74. So I really believe that it is getting very, very close to a bottom here. Now, earnings are less than a month away. So it's not earnings that why I'm watching this week. Now, Corsair Gaming, they are going to provide an overview of their strategy, their growth opportunities, and long-term financial targets during a virtual investor day. Now, Corsair could use as many positive updates as possible to get the stock to reverse its trend. And I think it may be on that path. So it's going to be very interesting to hear what they have to say. Usually, when a company comes out and they are talking about their future, how great their future is going to be, here's our goals, here's our price targets, here's where we're going, here's where we're taking you. Usually, when that occurs, investors get excited and they start buying. So watch Corsair Gaming this week on Thursday for any announcement from their virtual investor day. All right. Other companies that I'm watching specifically for earnings on Thursday include Travelers, ticker symbol TRV. They are in the insurance business. Union Pacific, ticker symbol UNP. CSX, ticker symbol is CSX. That's freight. So how's the railways going with the supply chain? And then, of course, one of the biggest earnings of the day is Netflix. Now, on Netflix, I have a couple things to say. Ticker symbol I'll go ahead and pull it up. Ticker symbol is NFLX. All right. Here's Netflix. They had a hard pullback last week. Some bad news, some bad reports. But I personally believe this selling right here that you see on your screen, starting on November 19th, this hard pull down, this selling, and then January 5th, that big gap down, that big fall. Okay? And then on the 13th, another big day of falling. I think this selling is overdone. Just like with PayPal. I believe all that selling at PayPal was too much, which is good for investors who want a good deal. Now, on Netflix, you could see maybe some disappointing subscriber growth numbers. Because with download trends being reported to have been down in December across all regions, we could get a net negative subscriber. So instead of maybe growing, maybe it's shrinking. It's a possibility. As a matter of fact, UBS thinks net subscriber additions accelerated in Q4, but will come in below management's guidance. So, on the conference call, look for color on profitability expectations. Netflix said last quarter that it anticipates being free cash flow positive on an annual basis in 2022 and beyond. Will they meet that goal? That's what I will be watching for, and I'll probably be doing the live stream during the call, so I won't be able to listen to it unless we decide to play it during our live stream after the market closes. Or I'll be reading the transcript, definitely. I want to know what they think. Is 2022 going to be a profitable year for Netflix? That's one big thing. There's a second big thing for Netflix. Wall Street. Wall Street has been over concerning itself that Netflix will fall short on its Q4 21 paid global streaming net ad guidance of 8.5 million. I believe, here's the second one. I believe Netflix could stop sharing this metric altogether. That's right. Netflix may say, you know what, Wall Street? We know we're doing a good job. And we don't need you coming out and saying, oh, Netflix has dropped 100,000 subscribers. This is very bad news for the company. No, no, no. We don't need that, Wall Street. We know we're doing good. We know we're going to be profitable in 2022. So we're going to stop giving you that metric. You know, not all companies break out their subscriber growth from streaming. Not all media companies do that. And those companies don't get extra scrutiny because they don't. So, it would not surprise me if Netflix says, enough, we're going to stop putting out that metrics, because that's not what matters. What matters is that we are becoming profitable, that we are profitable in 2022. That is what matters. So watch for that. That's a possibility. But I guess it just depends on how mad they get at Wall Street for hurting their stock over subscriber growth. That doesn't matter if the company is profitable, the company is global. At some point, you have reached every person with an internet connection, right? At some point, that's going to happen. So watch for that. Keep an eye out for that. It could happen. All right. Let's move on now to Friday, January the 21st. We get earnings from one of my favorite banks, Ally, ticker symbol ALLY. Now, Ally Financial, I think, is a great bank. It's still following my squiggly lines that I drew here. Jiminy Crickets, when was this? December 15th. So a month ago. and it's still following my squiggly lines. I gotta love it. Now, one thing I brought Ally up earlier in our live stream, I think on Monday of last week, because of the whole death cross in Bitcoin. Because Ally in this red circle, they had a death cross. And if you look at it, they had already been in a downtrend after the death cross occurred. It occurred on December 7. On December 20, it had reached its bottom. And the bottom was only, it looks like maybe $1.50 to $2 lower than the low that it had prior to the death cross. And then it has rallied ever since. So it's a lagging indicator. It means it's already happened. You're already in it. And then the second company that I'm watching for earnings on Friday is Honeywell. They build a lot of things. Ticker symbol is HON. So that's what I'm watching for on Friday. I know it's been a packed show, and it's not over yet. I wanted to leave you with a 2022 stock idea. With our environment of high inflation and rising interest rates, I would like for you to take a look at John Deere. Deere and Company, ticker symbol DE. This is a company that I think has a great long-term strategy. And if you look here, they have been range bound since February 19th, 2021. A bottom of 320, a top right around 400, 392. Yeah, they're getting to the top of that range now. But I think maybe the next earnings that come up in just over a month from now, maybe that could push them out of this range and put them in an ascending trading channel. John Deere has got a lot going for it. It's got a lot of headwinds. It's got an automated, fully autonomous tractor that can go plow the fields all day, all night without human intervention. It's incredible. Now, the boating industry, it's got some cool things up its sleeve too with technology. But John Deere, take a look at it, see what you think, do your own due diligence. I do have a standalone video out there about John Deere. You can watch it if you have some time, but I think it's going to break out of this year-long range, this cycle that it's been in, and move above this. Okay, let's hold me accountable for last week's Catalyst Watch video. Okay, I like to do this in the video. It keeps me honest. It builds trust with you. And it's a good way to keep track of how do these companies do that I mention, especially the ones that I say are going to do good. What happened to them? So in last week's Catalyst video, we had Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker symbol TSM. They jumped 5.26%. Wells Fargo, WFC, up 3.68%. KB Homes, ticker symbol KBH, it popped the biggest on earnings, 16.52%. And then we had Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, it rose 4.02%. And then Jack in the Box, it was up 2.03%. And then my slowest mover was Samsara, ticker symbol IOT. It swung 0.99%. However, If we put a little asterisk in the corner, Samsara had the biggest swing of the week in my group of stocks that I mentioned in last week's Catalyst Watch video. It swung nearly 30% in 2 days, bottom to top, nearly 30%. Wow. But I only get to acknowledge 0.99% of it. The rest of it doesn't count because I was talking very specifically about one item. And then, of course, what happens after that, I didn't mention, so I can't take credit for it. So my total gain for last week was 32.5%. Now, what did I get wrong? Well, what I got wrong was Tilray, ticker symbol TLRY. Let's just look at this. TLRY. I got Tilray wrong. I said, and to do this, I'm going to have to hide volume so you can see it better. And I need to move this line right here so you can see it better. But I'm going to measure it here for you. Now, Tilray had earnings. So if we go from where it closed here and we go to its top for earnings, which would be right there. In last week's Catalyst Watch video, I said to stay away from Tilray during its earnings, or at the very least, be careful with it. And I can't believe it, but it actually popped 23.7% from closing till the intraday high. On the day of earnings, it popped 23.7%. So I will leave this one out as missed opportunity. So Catalyst Watch is up 32.5% year to date. All right. Well, that's what I'm watching this week. And the catalyst that I see that could be occurring this week. But I want to hear from you. What catalyst are you watching this week? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, your comments make these videos so much better. Okay, if you found this video helpful, informative, actionable, then click the like button. Share this video with everyone so we can all enjoy financial freedom. And remember, click the first link in the description to get our top 10 value, growth, dividend, and momentum stocks list. Oh, and every day the market is open, I host the After Hours show around 5 p.m. Eastern to talk about what moved the markets, stocks, crypto, and most importantly, answer your questions. So thank you all so very much for watching. I'm glad you could join me for this week's Catalyst Watch video. I know it is a very, very busy week. And if you are catching this at the end, make sure you go back, start at the beginning. We covered a lot of ground this week. There's a lot of action that could be occurring. Number one, because it's a short week and earnings season is underway. It has begun. And there's a bunch of them. So there's going to be a bunch of pops and misses and all kinds of things in between. The market is closed on Monday. And then we're here on Tuesday for the After Hour show after the market has closed at around 5 p.m. Eastern to hang out with you, answer your questions. And yeah, that's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me, Mario. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you in the next video.